This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, well, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to the Afternoon Show presented by ESEN. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Jay McLevin. How's it going, guys?
Well, good.
It's beautiful, man. It couldn't be any more of a beautiful day right now. It was a great. Obviously, yesterday was opening day for a lot of people, and it was good. It was good. Good March Madness, good baseball. Tony, if you're a sports person, yesterday was phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree. Was that most definitely. Well, let's get into this NCAA tournament. And that first game, BYU and Alabama went nuts. Won 113 to 88. That was a crazy game. I think if anybody would have played Alabama last night, they would have lost.
Yeah, I totally 100% agree with you. Like I was telling you in pre-show, of course, everybody else probably knows this already. You know, Sears came out and hit 10 3-pointers. There were so many 3-pointers that when I was watching a few of the some of the shows on some of the sports shows, I think I was watching CBS today. They couldn't even cover all of them. There wasn't enough time to cover all the threes. I mean, he hit 10, Holloway hit 6. I think 5 players hit 3-pointers. I think the total out, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was 25. At the end of the day, it was the most in NCAA history. At some point, you know, I'm really surprised that, you know, BYU, because we know Alabama has a high-ranking offense. They never really stepped up to really truly defend that three at any level, honestly.
They didn't. I agree. Yeah, that was a crazy game. And then from there we had Maryland and Florida. Florida won 87-71. Maryland got off to a pretty good start, but just couldn't hang. I thought Florida was going to be a little bit too much for them. And Maryland did a good job in the first half, but then it then fell off.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Avery Johnson, I saw him today. He was talking on CBS Sports, and he actually had Florida as the team to win it all. And he made some good points. You know, he said they're a very well-balanced team on offense and defense, and they're going to have to be, correct me if I'm wrong, the team they're going up against next, I guess it's tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. The team, the one that fits in the Elite Eight, has a very strong shooting presence, and so they're gonna. And from what I understand, I haven't watched a whole lot of Florida basketball, but from what Avery was saying, they have a very. I guess they can go up tempo, they can slow the pace down. You know, either way, it doesn't really affect them. That could be very dangerous when you can play up tempo and slow tempo.
Yeah, I'm not sure who Florida plays. If they play Duke or
I think it is
Alabama or Texas Tech.
One is, I'll tell you right now who they play. They play Texas Tech. Alabama is going to play Duke. That's going to be a damn good game. And Texas Tech is going to play Florida. So, yeah. And I think as we saw with Texas Tech and how they came back and took that game, there's a lot of fight and a lot of scoring in that Texas Tech. So even though I think Florida will probably take that, I think Texas Tech is going to give them everything that they can handle.
Chris, what do you think of the first two games, BYU, Alabama, and Maryland and Florida?
Alabama just had too much offense last night for BYU, which I thought Alabama would win the game. I didn't think they were going to hit that many 3-pointers. Florida actually impressed me last night, even though they didn't play a great game. To be able to win like they did after turning the ball over 13 times in the first half, where they usually only average like 11 turnovers the whole game. They turned the ball over in that first half more than they averaged a whole game, and still pretty much controlled that whole game. So Florida impressed me in that, because even not playing their greatest, they still look pretty damn good last night. Maryland don't have enough off the bench, and Maryland couldn't stop Florida from scoring defensively.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a good point, Gonzo, when you brought up the bench, because Maryland only had 3 points off the bench.
Yeah, and now that freshman Queen from Maryland, that dude is impressive. He's quick. He's hard. He's hard to guard. He was drawing a foul every time he tried to drive the ball.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why they went away from that. They should have done that a lot more often because Florida didn't have nobody that could keep up with his first step, and he was getting fouled almost every time he drove the ball. But Maryland got away from that too much. So, but no, I thought both of them were pretty good games. Florida was impressive, and I think if Florida don't turn the ball over, I think they beat Texas Tech by at least 10.
A couple of questions for you guys. Do either one of you have you heard? I know Florida had that one player get hurt, big guy. Have either one of you heard how bad that injury was?
Let's see, I didn't see anything on.
I don't know, but real quick, Alabama hit 25 3-pointers. The previous record was 21, and that was back in 1990. So the record had been around for a while. Alabama shot 51 threes. And they hit I think 25. Yeah, 25-51. So I mean, hell, they shot almost 50% from the fucking 3-point line during that game.
I do have a question. Yeah. What do you guys think Queen's going to do? Do you think he goes to the NBA, or does he go with his coach to Villanova?
Oh, that's a good one.
I think he's a first-round draft pick. I mean, probably top 10.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think probably he probably would go to the portal with his coach if he decides to stay in college basketball. Otherwise, if he goes pro, then it's not really going to matter. But it's a good possibility. I haven't seen anything on the news relations or the news side of it or any links there to say anything about it, so it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what he thinks he's projected to get drafted at. If he's gonna be like a top 5 pick, I think he might go ahead and go. But if he decides to stay, I think he'll be with Villanova because if I remember right, he's already put his name in he already put his name in the transfer portal, so he's not going back to Maryland. He's either going to the NBA or he's transferring somewhere else. And if he don't go to the NBA, I would say he's probably going to go to Maryland with that coach because during that interview that he had with McAfee, he spoke real high of that Maryland coach. So I wouldn't be surprised that he ended up with him. I just think it depends on if he thinks he'll be a top 5 pick or not this year.
Right. I would agree with that for sure. What's up, Joe?
Okay, let's go to the other couple games. We had of course we had Arizona and Duke and Arkansas and Texas Tech. Let's talk about Arizona and Duke. What'd you think about that game?
I think Flagg made another really strong case for being the number 1 pick in this year's draft. I mean, he scored 30 on them. I will say the one thing about that Duke game that kind of made me have a moment of pause was kind of towards the end of that game. They weren't really hitting a lot of their shots. They were making their free throws, but they weren't really, their field goal percentage had kind of dropped down a little bit towards that in that second half. So, which is fine against Arizona, but when they get to that next level round, and I forget who they were playing, but when they get to that next level, I think it's Alabama they're playing. So when they, if they're going to go up against an Alabama team, who is also another high-scoring team, you're not going to be able to just have that drop-off in field goal percentage. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on come the Elite 8.
Yeah, I agree. Chris, what do you think?
It wasn't about how I expected it to. I thought Duke would win, but I thought that Arizona would cover the spread, which was 9.5. I actually bet on all the games last night. I had a parlay in, and I had Arizona at the plus 9.5. But I thought Duke would win the game. They ended up winning by 7. But they controlled most of that game. It wouldn't ever. I never felt like Arizona was going to win that game. I like Duke. I like their defense. They did give up quite a few points last night compared to what they usually do because they usually only give up about 62 to 65 points a game. So they gave up a little more than what they usually do, but they scored over 20 points more than what they average as well. So So that's a good thing. But I think Duke and Alabama would be a good game. But I think Duke beats Alabama. I don't think Alabama is going to be able to hit 25 threes
If they hit 25
against that Duke defense.
If they hit 25 threes, ain't nobody gonna beat them. I mean, if you do that, it's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, it will be. And that's it. And I do think that Alabama is gonna. That's what I'm saying. I think they're really gonna challenge Duke on that level. So it's gonna be good to see how Duke responds and how they come out and play against that. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. And then the next game was Arkansas and Texas Tech, and that was one hell of a game. It was very entertaining. I watched the whole game. Arkansas kind of blew it. They was up 16 points with probably, I don't know, less than 10 minutes left in the game. And Texas Tech came back, showed a lot of heart. It was a crazy game. I thought Arkansas, when they was leading and up by 16, I thought they just had too much driving to the basket and stuff. But then Texas Tech started hitting shots and got some turnovers and got back in the game. But I thought it was a real entertaining game, and I really enjoyed it. So, Chris, what did you think of that game?
Well, I didn't get to see a whole lot of it.
That's right.
Because I fell asleep, which was probably it was probably a good thing I fell asleep, because that was the last game I had left on my parlay, and I needed Arkansas to cover the +5, and they were. So it was probably a good thing I was asleep. Probably saved me from maybe having a heart attack when they were up by 16 and blew it and ended up going to overtime. But they held on and covered the spread for me, so my parlay hit, which I was happy about. But yeah, from what I've heard on the radio and stuff, just sounded like Arkansas just kind of fell apart in that game. I really thought Arkansas would win the game. I thought it'd be a close game because, like I said yesterday, Texas Tech can shoot the ball, but I thought Arkansas's defense would slow them down, and they did for the first part of the game, but wasn't able to there in the second half. So, but yeah, I didn't get to watch a lot of it live. I watched a lot of the other games, most of the other games, but I didn't get to watch that when I fell asleep during it. Woke up right. I got to watch the last couple minutes of overtime.
Yep. Jay, what did you think of that game?
Yeah, absolutely. This is another classic game where I felt like, when you look at the bench of Arkansas, that's 42 minutes of play from their bench, 42 minutes, and they only generated 3 points. 3 points. So they really put all the pressure on that starting five. And I think because they put all the pressure on that starting five, basically to do the scoring, you're not going to go very far. Now, luckily, Texas Tech wasn't doing much better. They did eventually come back and overtake it in overtime. But when you only get 3 points off your bench, Tony, you're not going to earn Gonzo. You're not going to go very far. You're not going to get the complete win. And when you look at what JT Toppin and Williams did, I think combined for 40 points between the two of them. They just played lights out, and they got a lot of points off their bench. Texas Tech did, which I think they got 19 points off their bench. They only had 2 bench players actually played, but one Overton gave you 37 minutes, and Federico gave you 13. So with the limited amount of minutes there, or the minutes they had, they gave you 19 points, which I think to me is a difference maker because they won by 2.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately what killed Arkansas was their bench scoring, to be honest.
You think maybe Arkansas got a little tired? I mean, I know they had people play, but I don't know what happened. They had kind of a collapse towards the end. But it was an exciting game. I know that. Well, you guys want to get into today's NCAA games?
Oh, yeah.
Let's start off with
it's going to be a good one.
First one's at 7:09. That's Ole Miss against Michigan State. 6-seeded Ole Miss against number 2 Michigan State. Jay, what do you think?
Yeah, I really like Tom. Anytime you got Tom Rizzo, which is another really phenomenal coach. I think he's got 58 appearances or something like that. I mean, he's got a lot of playoff appearances. So Tom Rizzo, the interesting thing about Michigan State to me was it's almost like a come from behind story because in preseason, they finished 5th in the Big Ten, only to come out and win the Big Ten. So, there's a lot of fight in this team. And I think they're used to kind of taking on that underdog status. So I am going to ride Michigan State over Ole Miss on this one.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Michigan State too. Like you said, they was coming in preseason. They was picked to be fifth, and that shows Izzo's a great coach. It shows what he can get out of his players year after year, because it seems like he's always in the tournament and always a contender. Maybe not always going to win it. Maybe not always a Final Four team, but always a team that can get to the Sweet 16. It seems like, and they're a pretty strong team. I like Michigan State against Ole Miss too. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Michigan State as well. I think their defense. I think their defense and their physicality is going to be a little too much for Ole Miss.
Yeah.
If you watch Michigan State play, they still play like an old school style of basketball. They're not a team that chucks up 33s a game. They'll take layups, they'll take mid range, and then they play defense and they rebound. But yeah, I like Michigan State here. They're 3.5-point favorites. Over unders at 144.5, and I kind of like the under too, because Michigan State will also play a little bit of a slower pace game than what you see some of these other teams play.
That's true. The next game coming up at 7:39 p.m. is Kentucky and Tennessee. Number 3 seeded Kentucky, number 2 Tennessee. But something I did find out: Kentucky's beat Tennessee every time they've played them this year.
Yeah. Yeah, what's that guy's last name? Otega Alway, I think is how you say his last name. His brother plays for the Ravens at linebacker, Adafe Owe, something like that. Their names are hard to pronounce, but anyway, they're both trying to get to that elite level. Obviously, his older brother plays for the Ravens, so he's gotten to that level, and I think Otega is trying to get there. And I know he'll get there. It's just a matter of when he enters the draft at that point. But I like Kentucky in this one, man. I'm gonna stick with the Bluegrass State, and I'm going Kentucky over the Volunteer State. I just, like you said, I think you said it all. It's almost like OKC owning Memphis, and I felt like Kentucky owns Tennessee, and I think they're in their heads a little bit. So I'm gonna go Kentucky on this one to keep that win streak alive.
What do you think, Chris?
Oh man, I think it's going to be a real good game. I'm going to lean toward Kentucky on it though. I think Kentucky's a little bit better than Tennessee, but it's hard to beat a team. It's hard to keep beating a team over and over in the same season.
Yeah.
So I think that can help Tennessee a little bit, but I like Kentucky, especially getting them. You can get them at +4.5 and or +168 on the money line, but because Tennessee's a slight favorite, which is kind of strange that they're a slight favorite since Kentucky has beat them this season. But it's hard to keep beating the same team over and over. So it should be a real I'm looking for a real close, entertaining game tonight out of this one.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about that's the point I was going to make about beating, especially in college. Pros are different, but in college, to beat a team, 2, 3, 4 times and your rivals anyway, I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think Tennessee's going to get them when it counts. That's what I think. But it should be a real good game, though. They know each other very well, so that should be a good game. Next game after that, 9:39 p.m. is Michigan, 5th seed against the number 1 seed, Auburn.
Yeah. If it's okay, I'm taking Auburn.
Okay.
I just don't see Michigan upending Auburn at this. As a matter of fact, I had Auburn in getting close to being in the Final Four. I had them in the Elite Eight, winning the Elite Eight. So, yeah. I'm gonna lean Auburn on this one.
I'm going upset. I'm gonna go with my Big Ten guys. They've been playing really well since the Big Ten tournament. They won the Big Ten tournament, and they've played really well. I think Michigan's going to get an upset here. I'm gonna go with Michigan. Chris, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a real good game. I think Auburn's going to win the game, even though I hate to say that because I like to see Michigan win because Michigan is a Big Ten school. But I think it's going to be a 2 or 3 point game. So I really like Michigan at the +8.5 because I think this is a close game, and it wouldn't surprise me if Michigan wins. But I'm going to take Auburn to win it.
Yeah, if you look at the statistical categories, with the exception of rebounds per game, which isn't by much. Michigan is at 38.6 and Auburn's at 37.3. That's the only category that Michigan actually is outperforming in the season over Auburn. So I just feel like Auburn is going to be a little bit too much for Michigan to handle. But I do think it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to see a blowout in this game.
That's quite possible. Then the last game is number 4 seeded Purdue against number 1 Houston. I already know who you're taking, Jay, but go ahead and tell me.
I'm taking Purdue.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
No, look. I told y'all since day one. I had Houston in the Final Four. I really think this team can go all the way. If a lot of things pans out their direction, I think they can go all the way. Again, Duke, Florida. Those are teams that are very, very strong and are going to be very, very competitive. I think this year's Final Four is going to be super tough, and I think it's going to be super strong. And I think we're going to see some really good basketball. But in this specific game over Purdue, I'm definitely taking Houston.
Yeah, I think Purdue's got a chance, but it's going to have to be. They're going to have to play really, really well to beat Houston. Smith can't have a bunch of turnovers like he did the last game. They're going to have to play better than they have the first 2 games to be able to play with Houston. I don't know what the point spread is, but I think that Purdue. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm going to go with Houston also.
So Purdue is plus 8.5. Obviously, Houston is minus 8.5.
Yeah. Chris, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. Let me get back to my page here. This is another one. I think Houston might edge out to win against Purdue, but I love Purdue at the plus 8.5. I think it's going to be a close game, and I think this Purdue team can be a little more dangerous than what they've been in the years past, because in the years past they've been that number one seed where all the pressure's on them, and then they'll play a bad game. This year they haven't had that pressure because they wasn't expected to be. I mean, they were expected to be good, but they weren't that number 1 seed like they have been the last couple of years. So I could see Purdue coming in this game playing freely, and I think it's a big deal that this game is in Indianapolis. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana. There's going to be 70,000 people at Lucas Oil Stadium, and a majority of them are probably going to be Purdue Boilermaker fans. I think that can make a little bit of a difference as well. So I expect this to be a real close game, but I think Houston edges it out. But I do like plus 8, Purdue at the plus 8.5 on the spread to cover.
Hey Jay, this would have been a real good go down to Indy, man. First game's Kentucky and Tennessee. The second game's Purdue and Houston, man. That's 2 really good games.
A really nice lineup. If you're watching college basketball, the key for Houston, the one thing Houston does really well is they don't turn the ball over a lot. I think they're like 8.9 or less. And that's going to be key for them, I think, all the way through the Final Four. Even when they get to the tougher teams like a Duke or Florida, is not turning that ball over as much. They score 79.8 points, and Purdue gives up 70.6. So, I think like what Gonzo said, I'm gonna piggyback off what he said. I do feel like it's going to be a close game, but I still feel like Houston is just going to edge that out. They're undefeated in their Big 12 conference, and it's just time for Houston and Coach Sampson to show the world who we are.
And see, that's the other thing I kind of like about Purdue too, is they played a tougher schedule.
They got to play a little tougher,
a little more physical of a schedule, playing in the Big 10 conference than what the Big 12 conference is.
I do like Houston's defense, and that worries me.
Yeah, Houston has good. Houston's a good team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that worries me with Purdue being able to turn the ball over. I mean, your main guard who handles the ball a lot tends to turn the ball over. If he don't turn the ball over, and the big key for Purdue is get off to a good start. They get off to a good start.
Right.
What I mean, but I'm not saying get up 20 points or anything like that. I mean, that'd be great for them. But if they can just stay, within a couple of points or ahead a couple of points and get off to a good start that first 10, 15 minutes, I think that they have a very good chance of winning that game because of the crowd, like you said before.
A couple of them I want to point out. First of all, Gonz is absolutely correct. That Big 10, it's a much, much tougher conference. So I got to give that conference their due respect. That's it is a little bit tougher schedule. With that being said, though, I want to go back to that Texas Tech team. I really like a team like that it tests the metal of who the hell you are. I've seen a lot of good teams, St. John's, I'm using them as an example, that come in and can't handle it. Texas Tech goes down by 20 to Arkansas, And by all means, they really should have lost that game at being down that much. But they dug deep down and they found that dog-like, I always say the dog mentality in them, and just came back. And when I see teams do that, it almost makes you want to get behind them because that's damn inspiring basketball. So it's interesting. I think it's a good. I guess to say that's what I'm trying to say is it's a really good March Madness. I think up to this point, it's been really honestly good basketball.
Yeah, I agree. You guys want to touch on a little NBA real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't want to talk about the Lakers?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the Lakers. I happened to catch the end of that game, and boy, was I shocked. It reminded me a little bit of Reggie Miller and the Knicks, just a little bit with how they scored all those points in like 6 seconds. It wasn't what'd you say they scored, Chris? Like 7 points?
Scored 9 points.
How many seconds? 15 seconds, something like that. 17 seconds.
What was it? No, 9 points in the last 30 seconds.
9 points in the last 30 seconds.
There was 13 total points scored in the last 30 seconds of that game, and 9 of them was by the Bulls. The Lakers had 3 or 4. 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, you could definitely see the Bulls killed them in that fourth. Well, yeah, it's interesting because the Lakers beat the crap out of them in the third at 32-17.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that coach said to them going into that fourth quarter, but they came alive and then just absolutely killed the Lakers in that fourth quarter. I'd be curious to know what he told him.
Well, Jay, in the last 12 or 15 games of this year, I mean, all honestly, Bulls are playing about as good as anybody. They've really turned it around. And
since the trade deadline, they got rid of Levine and some of them older guys, and these young guys are just running and playing hard. And look at what White's doing.
Yeah,
he's scored 30-something points a game, but they got rid of them guys that kind of was ball dominant, and now you got a young team that everybody plays hard and they're sharing the ball, and they've looked a lot different since that trade deadline.
I thought it was interesting, though. I will say this for the Lakers. I thought it was interesting that somebody not named LeBron and not named Luka was the leader in points in that team. And that's Austin Reeves, AR-15 at 30 points, 10-17, 7-7 at the line. I mean, Austin Reeves, man, you're quietly becoming the superstar on that team. I don't think he gets enough respect, honestly.
He's pretty good, but Jay, I tell you what, their bench, and you harp on
the
bench,
for sure.
They're not consistent. One game, 3 or 4 guys will step up, and then 2 or 3 games they'll disappear. They have no consistency, and I think that's what's going to kill them. And then the last 10 games, they're giving up almost 120 points a game defensively, and they're not going to go anywhere doing that. And LeBron, that turnover, I mean, it was just a lazy pass that he threw in that got took away and thrown back for that 3-pointer. I don't know what he was doing. He had a brain fart. He's still thinking about Stephen A. Smith, or what the hell his problem is. But it was horrible. I mean, you know, he's supposed to be the leader on the team to a certain degree, and that was horrible. I mean, it just was. That was a horrible loss. Well, their head coach said in the press conference that was devastating.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's not at a pass you would expect out of a guy like, of LeBron's experience level, right?
No.
You wouldn't expect that.
It was, and what made it even more devastating is the way you got a big win the night before.
And you got a big tip in, and
you get a big win the night before, and then the next night you lay an egg, and end up losing on the last second shot. Look what the Pacers did last night. They scored 161 points, and they didn't even play the starters in the fourth quarter. Played a couple starters at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then after that it was all bench because they were up like 30 going into the fourth. But Halliburton, his streak of double doubles with points and assists, he was like up to like 12 or 13 in a row. It got stopped last night, but not no fault of his own. He didn't play it all in didn't play it all in the fourth quarter. Didn't play much in the second half of that game because, like I said, Pacers were just everybody was hitting. It was crazy. I didn't watch a whole lot. I listened to some of it on the radio, and then I was watching some of the college basketball because they were up by so many. So I didn't watch a whole lot of it, but I was keeping track of it and listening to it when I'd go outside to smoke. But it was They look good, but yeah, it was just that's a bad loss by the Lakers. But from what I didn't see it, I haven't even watched the highlights yet. I've heard about the shot, but it sounds like they didn't play no defense at all either, and gave Giddey a pretty much wide open. I know it's from half court, but still, you can't. You got to contest. You got to give some kind of contest or try to slow the ball up or something.
They didn't at all. Nobody. LeBron was the only one that came up, and that was right before he shot. He jumped at it. That was it. And somebody tried to defend it and say, well, there was only 3 seconds left. And the other guy who's an NBA analyst is so what? You got to defend. If you put a guy on the ball, they never get that shot. He don't get to.
And let's be honest, 3 seconds in the NBA could be almost like an eternity in some cases. I mean, it really can. I mean, look, when you got Braun and you got Luka combining for 16 of 42, and Braun goes 0 for 5 at the 3. Nah, that ain't gonna get it done, killer. That ain't gonna get it done. And you ain't getting any younger springtime, baby. You only gonna get older. So I'm just saying, I don't know, man. The Lakers are so weird to me. I've seen the Lakers come out and play dominant ball, and then you see them look like last night and just completely poop the bed. I mean,
there's not consistent. I don't think
exactly.
they have.
There's no consistency with that team.
They don't have a team that can win the championship at all. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. Maybe the Pacers don't either.
That's factual.
I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm just saying I don't think they do. It's time after this season to look at what you got to do to get Luka what he needs. I didn't notice. I didn't say LeBron what he needs. Luka what he needs.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. Switch over to that Pacers game. What did that guy say? I saw this guy, maybe it was CBS Sports. I was watching. I saw him make this comment. He goes, "Hey, you want to get back on track? Go play the Wizards."
Yeah, I did see that too.
I remember because y'all came out that loss, and boy, y'all went into the Wizards and just put on a clinic. What did they say? Over 200 points, I think, was scored in that game, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we scored 161.
I mean, that's nuts. That's absolutely incredible.
I think they ended up with like 100. I mean, our defense was pretty good last night as well.
Some of these teams, even the Lakers, have got to be happy that the Warriors. That I think he's going to be back tonight. Seth got hurt because I think he's going to be back tonight. What they're saying, but if he don't get hurt, the Warriors would be up there probably real close to the Lakers right now.
Here's the interesting about the Warriors, though. I think they said Steph Curry should be getting ready to come back off that.
I think tonight.
Yeah, they say he's supposed to play tonight. What was it he had? Like a hip flexor or something like that, right?
No, he bruised his tailbone.
Yep.
There you go. Tailbone. And I'll be honest with you, hey, look, if y'all I've bruised my tailbone before, and it hurts like hell. That is one thing that hurts like hell, man. I mean, it is crazy, but and they really need to come back because because like you said, I mean, we only got like a week left before playoffs, and they really, if they want to seriously contend, they're gonna have to get that rhythm back. But and Golden State's another team with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, which, by the way, does anybody here find it interesting that Draymond Green has not had any kind of fights with Jimmy Butler? Because I thought that might be an issue when Jimmy came.
That's true. Yeah, that could have been. Guys, could the Clippers be dangerous at all if Kawhi comes back? They're 8-2 in their last 10. But if
he's been playing,
has he been playing? Because I know they were talking if he came back on TV.
So did he? Well, he was back. Did he get hurt again? Because he was back playing like a week or so ago. Maybe he got another injury. I'm not sure.
Or maybe they just wondering if he was going to be there for the rest of the season and the playoffs, whether he's going to be there consistently.
So I'm just looking at last night's game, and no, Kawhi didn't. Yeah, he did. No, Kawhi played 41 minutes last night and scored. Actually, he had a pretty good game.
He's been playing. He's been playing well since he's been back.
Yeah, I mean, the guy went 10 of 18, 2 for 6 at the 3, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 27 points. I mean, that's a pretty good stat line. So, do I think the Clippers got a chance? Yeah. You got Harden, you got Leonard. I don't think they're going to go all the way, but I do think they'll put on a pretty good performance in the playoffs. I think they'll be a solid team in the playoffs.
And the other thing with the NBA that was kind of a shock today, at least it was to me, the Memphis Grizzlies fired their head coach. And I mean, they're tied with the Lakers for the 4th position with, no more than 8-9 games left in the season. why do you make this move now? I mean, how bad were things to get rid of your coach at that point of the season?
Especially when he's their winningest coach, and then you fire him. I don't know what the whole story is there, but something had to happen. There's no way you're in the top 5. You're the winningest coach in that program, and they just cut you in the play right before a week before the playoffs. They decide to cut you. That makes no sense to me. That tells me something went down, and we're not going to know. I'm sure it'll all come to light, but right now it just doesn't make sense to me.
Kawhi has scored 23 or more points in his last 6 games.
He didn't get hurt or anything last night because the show I watched.
Oh, here you go, Tony. The team. Now this is on NBA or this is off ESPN. The team believed Jenkins had lost the locker room over the course of the season, and that making a change now might mitigate how the Grizzlies finish the season. Wow.
So
they think he lost the locker room. Hell.
What do you think about that, Chris?
I think it's kind of weird to fire a coach right before the playoffs when you're going to be in the playoffs. But I mean, how much did he lose the locker room? If they're still, if you lost the locker room, you wouldn't think they'd be in a playoff position. So I don't know. But like I said, I don't follow the Grizzlies, so I don't know enough about what's been going on there to know a whole lot about it. It just seems weird to me that if you're a playoff team, that you're firing your coach with 10 games left in the season.
I agree, man.
Hey, you want to hear something else that's crazy? So they're not the only ones that have done this. So if you look at Don Nelson with the Mavericks in 2004-2005 season, he was let go and they were 42-22. And Larry Brown was let go with the Nets in 1982-1983 season, and they were 47-29. So this is the third time that a team with a winning coach getting ready to go into the playoffs is let go. I mean, it's not something that's prevalent, but it has happened. It's crazy though. I don't know. To me, it's a bad strategy, but whatever.
Okay, guys, you ready to move on to some Major League Baseball?
Oh, God. Are we ever? Jeez. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I watched some baseball. Watch my Reds and watch Green pitch really well. He had one batter who just hung in there with about 11 or 12 pitches and then hit a home run, 2-run homer on him. And that's really the only and it wasn't necessarily a bad pitch either. I mean, the guy just battled and, that's going to happen sometimes. But that was the only real strike he took. I mean, that 2-run homer pitched really well. Relief pitchers came in the 6th, 7th, and 8th, shut him down, go to the 9th inning, and we all fall apart.
I think one of the guys hit a home run and the Reds player threw it back out onto the field. I saw that highlight.
Oh, the Reds fan? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want any part of that ball.
That dude was pissed, man. That fan was pissed. Yeah, I seen that. But, yeah, I thought we hit the ball pretty well. I thought we played pretty well. Just that one bad inning with our relief. And I talked yesterday about how I was worried about the relief pitching. So, it's like Chris said, it's only one game. It can't go crazy. But I was not a happy camper when that happened. But
I guess I put a curse on y'all when I said the Giants was going to be a surprise team and y'all laughed at me.
Chris,
what'd you think? Opening day.
There were some good games. Reds played a pretty good game. Like I said, came up short there in the top of the 9th. That's the only time we trailed the whole game. Had 2 outs. What really hurt was the walk. I know everybody wants to talk about that the home run the guy hit, the 3-run home run. Yes, that sucked and that got them the points. But if we don't walk that batter, that guy never gets a chance to come up to bat. It was just that one walk. And the guy they brought in to close, he didn't pitch bad. I mean, he got 2 strikeouts. The walk really hurt him because then that put runners on first and third. Where if you can get that guy out, and then that even in that last at bat where the guy got the home run, he made some pretty good pitches, and the guy got their batters battled well in that 9th inning, fouling off a lot of pitches. So I did like the way we played. The only real mistake I thought we did make a base running mistake and I know it was early in the game, but we might have been able to get another run out of that inning. and that could have been big, could have been huge later in the game. But other than that was Lux trying to go get the third on a double where he should have, or on a base hit, and he should have held up. He should have held up at second. Or yeah, he should have held up at second. We got 2 runs off that hit, and then there's only 1 out instead of 2 outs, and you still have 2 runners on. So I thought that was one little base running mistake they made. But other than that, I was pretty happy with the way they played. I mean, it sucks that you lose a game in the 9th like that, but you're not going to go all year with that with your closer being perfect either. So hopefully they can bounce back tomorrow and get a win against the Giants. Plus, it ain't like the Giants are a bad team at all. And I thought we hit the ball pretty well against Webb, who's a good pitcher. De La Cruz looked good. McLean was hitting the ball hard and just right at somebody every time he hit the ball. I think he ended up going 0 for 4, but I mean, he hit the ball hard all day. So like I said, I'm not real. It sucks that we lose your first game, but I'm not discouraged. I still think we're gonna have a good year, and just got to get going tomorrow and try and come back and win the series over the weekend.
Yeah, I agree. And you brought up about the base running, and that was something they brought up on TV. That's one thing that the coach will take them guys to task about. And you know how many running mistakes we made last year.
Yeah.
We watched all the games, and every game we would have somebody get thrown out on the base pads every single game, and sometimes 2 or 3 times a game. So that's something we got to clean up. And they said that's something the coach will.
Yeah, he'll clean. Well, and if you look, their base running was a lot better yesterday. They wanted a little more conservative than what it was. A lot more conservative than what it was last year with Bell. And that there, it was just he didn't get a great jump when the ball was hit. He was just trying to stretch it, and it's one where at that point in the game, there's no you can't make outs at third base. That's that's part. If you want to win baseball games, you can't make outs at third base.
Well, when he came around first, when he came around second from being from first, he was looking to see where our fastest runner was, and they said that he should have knew that De La Cruz, he didn't need to hold up and look or anything because De La Cruz was going to score. So he should have been running up, balls to the wall to third, and it wouldn't have been an issue.
Oh yeah, as soon as the ball was hit, because De La Cruz was on second. As soon as the ball was hit, I knew he was scoring.
Yeah, De La Cruz was going to score. That runner didn't need to look.
As soon as the ball was hit, I said that's 2 runs because I knew the guy on third and I knew De La Cruz was scoring. But it was like, dude, you should have held. If you're not going to run full speed, once you slowed up, you had to stop.
Yep.
I mean, I ain't gonna say that cost us the game because what cost us the game was there in the 9th.
Yeah.
But it happens. And that's like I said, it's not gonna be the only time that we blow a game in the 9th all season. So it happens to every team.
Yeah, that's true.
I just want to say I
Still
just think it's stereotypical Reds the way y'all started. The Yankees came out, handled business against your Brewers.
They did. That's true.
Actually, I think here lately we've been winning on opening day. Last couple of years.
I think we won the last couple of years, and then we go on a 4 or 5 game.
Hey, but seriously,
so
I thought
we'll
Buster Posey. Hey, I thought Buster Posey. Now he's in charge of player operations out there in San Francisco. Obviously, he was a long-time great Buster Posey catcher of the New York or San Francisco Giants. It's looking really good. I like the way he's building the Giants out there. It's what I kind of said. My surprise team a little bit was I like what he's doing. I think Buster's slowly building that program up where it needs to go, and I do look forward to seeing where he goes as a player, as an executive. See where he guides the Giants from there on in. So again, it's only game 1. It don't really mean a whole lot. You got another game tonight, even it up and keep on rolling. But yeah, I will tell you this: there was 3 games I thought that really kind of stood out to me. One was the Pirates and Marlins, and that's specifically because that was Paul Skeen's debut. That was his debut, and so not debut, but opening up the season for the Pirates. That's what I meant to say. Open up the season. He went 5.1 innings. He gave up three hits. On 2 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, finished out with a 3.38 ERA to start off the season. That's only starting. So I thought he got off to an average start, but I think of Paul Skeens, last year and the way he came into the league, and this is the next nature wonder boy, Ric Flair, and he kind of comes out a little bit average on his first game. 7 strikeouts, I don't want to discount that, but not really Paul Scheme F. This is the same guy that had under 2 ERA to finish the season in his debut. So I guess I expected a little bit more from Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he pitched bad. I think that it was kind of like Green in a way. He had one. I think he gave up one. Had the one bad at bat. I don't even know if it was a bad or bat, but he gave up a couple runs. I mean, they were in the lead when he went out, and his bullpen gave it up. So I mean, that's what you got. And that happened a lot to him last year. Skeens. He'd have the lead a lot, and Pittsburgh couldn't hold on to it.
That's pretty solid. Pretty solid outing by him. Really, he only gave up 3 hits.
Only 3 hits.
I know 2 runs, but he only gave up the 3 hits in 5 innings and had 7 strikeouts and just 2 walks. So, I mean, ain't bad, especially for opening day.
I'd like to
again, I don't want to make him as like he had a bad day. It's just by Paul. Look, this is a guy whose rookie card went for $1.1 million. So I'm not giving him any damn slack. I do expect a little bit better from him. I expect because he's not the prototypical average player. This is supposed to be the elite guy. That's why his card went for so damn much. So I expect a little bit more from him.
So after one start, you don't think he's an elite guy anymore?
I didn't say that.
No, I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. No, that was a question.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question. So you do not think he's elite because
you had to look at your eye. Look almost like accusatory. Okay, hold on a minute. No, I'm teasing Gonzo. I love you. I'm just messing with you. I'm just saying, like, yes, the guy. I don't think that one outing is going to destroy his elite status. I'm just saying it wasn't. Look, this is the Miami Marlins. It's not like they went against the Yankees. It's not like they went against the Dodgers. Something of that caliber. This is the lowly ass Miami freaking Marlins that might get 8 people in the stands. I expected a little bit better from him on his first start. That's all I'm saying. I expected him to at least the 5.1 innings, 6 innings, no runs is what I expected out of him. I really did expect that. I had a 100% expectation. I don't think he's lost any elite status. It just wasn't the flashy start that I expected from a guy who his card went for 1.1 million. Like, who gets a card that goes for 1.1 million and he only got 1 season in the league? I mean, I expect a lot out of him because we all expect a lot out of him. That's why his card went for so much. Paul, don't take this the wrong way. You still did good.
I see what you're saying to a certain degree, but I don't I don't look at baseball cards and what some fool is willing to pay for it.
I don't know. He's not 1.1 million. He must not be too much of a fool to have that kind of cash and just throw around, though.
Well, that's true. Well, if I had 1.1 million,
if I
had 1.1 million, I wouldn't be spending on a baseball card.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hell yeah. Well, that's true. I wouldn't either.
That's what I'm saying. If I had 1.1 million, I'd be eating a lot of barbecue and might be on a beach with a bunch of strippers. I ain't gonna be worried about that.
If I had 1.1 million, I'd be in the Philippines by the name of Pedro. Okay. You wouldn't even know who I was. I'd be so deep down in the whatever. But anyway, that's a long story. The second game I wanted to take a look at was the Astros. And it's not because they're my team. That's not the reason why. And it really is. I know a lot of people who know Jay, they can say, oh, you're just good. And that's my Frankie C voice. No. I say that because, like I was telling Tony earlier, Juan Soto got $765 million. I'm sorry, Bubba. It's time to man up. Find that, because look, you got paid the bag, and you get guys in scoring position. You got the chance to win the game in the ninth, and you shit the bed. You shit it. At the very least, it was a 3-2 count. It was a 3-2 count. Hader had not had his best stuff at all. That's why there were 2 men on. He got through Lindor. He struck out one, got to Lindor, then a couple guys got on. Then up comes Juan Soto with 2 men on, and this is his chance. Either A, get on base, B, hit a home run. But what you absolutely unequivocally don't do is strike out on a damn slider that wasn't even close to the plate.
And then if I remember, didn't he start off that count 3-0?
Yeah.
Yes. Went to 3-2, but it started off 3-0. Yeah.
Yes. I'm telling you, Hader did not have his, and Hader's a good closer, okay? He's a really good closer. But if you watch that inning, Hader dug himself into a hole early on. And by all accounts, the Astros probably should have lost that inning, especially when you got your best guy up at the plate. Just saying, Juan, you got $765 million. You can't get a base hit. You can't get a walk.
I know the Astros pitcher, starting pitcher, really pitched well.
Oh, Framber Valdez. Yeah, he only gave up one run. I believe he gave up. No, Josh Hader, I believe, is the one that. No, they both pitched scoreless innings. Josh Hader is actually the one that gave up the run. Yeah, I apologize. No, Josh Hader gave up the run. I just felt like, Juan Soto, man, everybody makes such a big deal out of it. The biggest moment of your life, and you can't produce.
Whoa. That's the big, that gave me, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. You're saying opening day yesterday against the Houston Astros is the biggest moment of Juan Soto's
oh my God.
life.
Okay, all right, hold on. Okay,
that's what we're saying here.
Hold on.
I want to get this right.
Hold on. I got you. Tony, sometimes you got to Barney style some shit down. Hold on a minute. I get it. I'm not saying that that's the biggest moment.
That's what you just said.
No.
You said the biggest moment of your life. And you failed.
No, hold on. You're not listening. No, you're not. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I said, and quote me if I'm wrong, you got paid $765 million, right? You got your money, you got 2 men in scoring position. That's a big moment. You should have gotten him home, is what I'm getting at. Okay,
but that's not what you said. You said the biggest moment of your life. It was your exact quote. Biggest moment of your life.
I'll rearrange my words for you, mister. I'm going to take everything you fucking say literally. Okay, I got you. Okay. Now I want to see where this podcast is really going. Okay, I can't be. Okay, I got to be fucking literal at this point. Okay, I got you.
No, you don't got to be literal, but there's a big difference between a big moment. There's a big difference between a big moment and the biggest moment.
Okay, the World Series would be the biggest moment. I get that. I'm not saying that. But I am saying this, that when you got $765 million damn dollars, your ass better get two guys home that could give us the win.
Okay, let me ask you this.
That's what I'm trying to say. It was a big moment.
I get what you're saying. You'd like to see your best player drive him in at that point, but you also got to But okay, that's what I'm saying. The money he's getting, but you also got to look at it this way. Baseball's a game of failure. If you hit the ball 25% of the time, you're considered pretty damn good at baseball.
No, I get all that.
Let me finish.
No, all right. I want to piss you off like you pissed me off.
So he didn't come through last night. I guarantee you, if you go by his career and you go by what he usually does, by the end of this year, he's probably going to come through more times than he don't. So I'm not going to bury a guy. I'm not going to bury a guy because he didn't come through one time.
I'm not burying that
game. Wait a minute. Did you bury Alex Rodriguez when he was making $100 million for the Yankees and he had one and he struck out one time?
I did.
You can't bury guys off one at bat. Not off one at bat. Come on.
Look, I'm going to go back to this earlier part when your dad Tony pointed out. This guy started out with a 3-0 count.
I know it was a 3-0 count.
Okay, hold on. Watch this. One ball. And then the pitch that you decide to strike out on is a slider, which is a low production pitch anyway. I'm saying his decision making at the plate was way the fuck.
Yeah, he had a bad at bat. He's not the first guy to ever strike out after having a 3-0 count.
Well, shit, I have a bad at bat too sometimes, but it doesn't mean I'm okay. Well, never mind. I can't say that on TV, but anyway, we're gonna leave it at that. I just felt disappointed. I felt disappointed for the state of.
Let me ask you this. New York Mets fan. Let me ask you one more question.
On the other hand, it's an Astros. So fuck.
Let me ask you one more question. Would you have got on here and been disappointed about how Soto done yesterday if it had been against anybody else besides the Astros?
Yeah, I would have been disappointed, and I will tell you.
I don't think so. I don't think you would have. I think it's because it's the Astros, and this makes the Astros pitchers look good.
Tim, I'm not paying you to think. I'm paying you to commentate.
Shit, when am I getting paid? Shit.
I know, right? Hey, I know, right now.
I pay you in love.
Hey, I pay you in love.
Hey, what's up, Frank?
Hey, hold on. But think about this. If you really go back and look at Juan Soto's day, he didn't have a hit.
He had one, didn't he? I could have sworn he had one.
Believe he did. Let me go back. I don't believe he did.
He had one a single up the middle.
Did he ever say? Okay, so he went 1 for 5. 2 of them were walks. He walked twice, I believe.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he walked twice.
If he was on base 3 times, that's not terrible.
Yeah. One hit, 2 walks.
I mean, on base 3 times, that's not terrible, Jay.
He went one. Yeah, he went 1 for 3 and had the 2 walks.
No, and I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Tony. But if I'm the New York Mets, and you got 2 men on,
I know what you're saying.
You don't got to get a hit. Take the walk. If he doesn't chase the slider, he's on. Tony, if he doesn't chase the slider, now you got fucking bases loaded. From Paul Alonso.
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso. I'm sorry, Pete Alonso. I'm Pete Paul. Fuck Pete Alonso. Let's go with that. Pete Alonso.
I see what you're saying, but I don't want to put you in a bad light. But the same guy had the same take as you did. And was going nuts because he hates the guy. I'm not saying you hate this player, but he hates the player. It was your buddy Mathis had the same damn take as you got. That piece of shit, he can't get a hit. $800 million. I don't care if the fucker makes $500 million or $400 million. They get paid to get the job done. But you're not.
I was only highlighting that because of all the hype that was around him trying to get in all these different teams.
Okay, what if the next 3 or 4 games he hits 4 home runs and wins 4 games for him?
Jay will come in here quiet, not saying shit about Soto.
Hey, look, you're right. You're right. Because you know what?
Just 1 game's all I'm saying.
Hey, watch this. You know how you shut somebody up? You fucking produce.
Yep.
I agree with that. But I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right to get on a guy for 1 game.
Hold on. I'm going to tell you, Tony. Hold on. I'm going to tell you one thing, Tony. I'm the guy that's going to give you hell when you suck, but I'm also going to give you praise when you kick ass. I will keep that same fucking energy on both sides of the equation because the love and hate are the same emotion, just on different opposites of the spectrum.
I think it was more of Bader. I think it was more for Bader because let's not forget.
Hader? Are you talking about Josh Hader?
Yeah, Josh Hader. Sorry, Josh Hader.
I don't know if that was your dialect or your accent or what.
It was more for Josh Hader because let's not forget last year the Astros opened up the season against the Yankees and the Yankees had Juan Soto. And it was the same situation. Juan Soto had runners. He had a runner on second base, and he goes up against Josh Hader. And what happens? Juan Soto actually hits the ball and give the Yankees the lead. I think at that time it was a 3-3 game, Jay, and he gave the Yankees the lead. This time around, him facing Juan Soto, but as a Met this time, Josh Hader came out and said, "Listen, it's not gonna happen 2 years in a row, buddy. On opening day, it's not gonna happen." Because if you looked at that last swing that Juan Soto did, it looked like he wanted to hold up, but he knew in his head he already went too far, so he had to deal with what he dealt with.
Yeah.
Listen, Jay, I stand 100% behind you. I don't care what Chris and Tony said. That mother effer swung out, and that's what you get, Juan Soto. Because let me tell you something.
Hey, Frank, you got other things to worry about. You need to worry about LeBron being able to throw a fucking pass in the game.
Hey.
That's fucking pathetic.
Hey,
that pass was fucking pathetic. I could throw a better fucking pass in the game.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Tony. You're right, Tony.
Hey,
but you
hey,
still,
are you
Tony, I get it.
Listen, camp and learn how
we're still going to KFC in 5 games.
Tony, you can say what you got to say about basketball. It's Frankie the Yankee season, okay? It's Frankie.
I don't want to hear that shit. 2 weeks ago it was KFC. 5 games.
Right.
Because
guess what, Tony? 2 weeks ago was spring training. I wasn't Frankie the Yankee. I was over there analyzing and predicting and getting ready.
So if the Lakers make it to the finals, it's still gonna be Frankie the Yankee, no more Lakers.
I mean, I'll celebrate for them. But
like, I'm not, that dude's gonna figure out
how
to I'll celebrate for them. Honestly, I would. But it's how I am. I'm more of a baseball guy than I am basketball. My persona of Frankie the Yankee is more known than Frankie Lake Show. Everybody loves Frankie the Yankee, man. You see
I don't know. We want to know, Tony. We talking about Frankie Montas.
We want to know, Tony. And we got 161 to go.
Are you Frankie the Yankee or is Frankie Montas? Last time I heard Frankie Montas took that Frankie the Yankee moniker.
Did he? Because if he took the moniker, guess what?
I think right now you're in violation of the law.
He took the moniker and it didn't last long. But guess who's still around? Don't try and come in here, Jay, just because your team is 1-0 against the Mets.
You're damn right, though, baby. 1-0. Say it with some pride.
That's right, baby. Yankees 1-0 with 161 to go. Can the Reds say the same?
161 to go. We're not 1-0.
I felt the pain on that one. That was a death dagger by Frankie the Yankee. To be alive. Hold on.
I'm upset for the Reds. I'm upset for the Reds. You guys had the ball in your hand. You had the lead. You guys were playing really well. I look at the bottom. I'm watching ESPN. I'm watching the NCAA March Madness. I look at the bottom and I said, the Giants won? What the hell? Like I looked at the game. I'm like, it was like the 6th inning. The Reds were up like 4-0.
Yep, I was in my recliner saying, "You rotten."
You know why? You know why, Antonio and Chris? I've been telling you since day one. It's Terry Francona. He sucks.
Hey, listen, guys. But you know who pooped the bed yesterday? Who had a really good opportunity, but then absolutely pooped the bed? And I was so ready. To start texting Philly Sports Guy. But it didn't come. It didn't come to fruition. But that guy, let me pull up his name. They were actually losing up until about the 7th inning, and that's when Bryce Harper hit the home run, and then the wheels just completely fell off the train for the Washington Nationals. But Gore went 6 innings at 13 strikeouts, 13 Ks over 6. Now I'm sorry, Washington Nationals baseball team. Each and every one of you son of a bitches should go to Gore and kiss his ass.
Hey, I'm pumped on that because at the very last minute before season started, I actually picked up Frank Gore. Or not Frank Gore. I'm sorry, I picked up Gore from the Washington. Well, because you said Gore, I'm over here thinking football, but I forgot we're talking baseball. But for the Washington Nationals, I picked up Gore. And
Man,
when I seen him on my fantasy, man, I'm like, this guy ended up almost getting me 60 points.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Hey, you know what? By the way, speaking of fantasy, I looked at the standings today, and currently you're actually on top at, I think, 227.
Yeah.
And I'm right up underneath you at 184, killer. So, hey, who's not good on top now?
Where are you at? You underneath Frankie?
But still, I'm going to say all I can.
Hey, you know what it is, Tony? You know what it is, Tony? Around this time, Jay and the Astros are always underneath me and the Yankees.
Oh, this is the guy who doesn't want to pin it in 15. It's all good. I love you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
We won to pin it last year.
I got another upcoming show. Let's wrap this bad boy up and pick it back up on Monday after all the craziness goes down.
Yep. Let's get out of here. I'm going to go watch SmackDown.
This early? Oh, they're out of the country.
They're in London.
Yeah, since we got nothing else to watch because baseball wanted to decide, let's do opening day Thursday and give half the scheduled teams off on Friday.
I hate that. They always do that every year. Every year the Reds play on Thursday and then don't play again on Saturday.
Chris, it was like we were mentioning this the other day, and you said that, and I was confused, and then I look on the schedule and I'm like, why the hell we got Friday off? Then you guys telling me how the Reds always start opening day. I look at the schedule. I'm like, why are the Yankees getting the first? Like, we're the first team to play. What the hell? But it don't matter because baseball's back. Frankie the Yankee back. We want to know. And we got 161 to go. Ooh.
Yeah, I
will tell you this, though, Frankie, before we get out this air, I was really kind of upset to see the schedule that the Astros have this year, and because we don't play you guys until after the All-Star.
As always.
No, we played you guys before the All-Star several times, and then even after the All-Star. This is the first time I've seen it where we get you guys late in the season. But anyway,
I won't get to watch much of the game tomorrow because I'll be driving, so I'll have to listen to it on the radio. But I'll get to watch the game Sunday.
Hell yeah. Hey, by the way, before we get out of here, if you liked today's comments, if you liked our show today, please give Gonzo Sports Room a subscribe on YouTube and like and comment. And don't forget your boys over here at ESPN. All of us as a family at ESPN. And give us a like and subscribe on our channel on YouTube. Much love.
And before we head out, just remember, the Astros suck. Baseball's back. Oh, it's going to be a whole lot of shit talking between Jay and Frankie the Yankee. Astro Jay versus Frankie the Yankee.
Damn right. Asshole Jay. Which was it?
Oh, I like that one. That's a good one.
Get us the hell out of here, please.
But I can't say it. We got to give Tony a disclaimer on that one.